Hello, hello, hello. Is this thing on? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. Once again, Bose831 is going live on Twitch. Bose831 Gaming is going live on Twitch. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. Once again, we're live on Farming Simulator 22 on the ELM Creek farm, continuing our live stream series in Farming Simulator 22 on the Elm Creek farm. And let's just get right into it. We got a lot of things going on this week or today or however you want to spin it. Or first of all, the most exciting news is we got a new DLC pack. The Kubota DLC pack was released this week, and we have some new equipment that we need to get into, and also some significant changes to the game with the 1.6 game update. And the biggest news is for players such as myself that are playing on console, and more specifically on the Xbox, is we have in our mod space has doubled. But there was a huge caveat to that part of the update. In order for Giants to increase the mod space, they had to uninstall all your installed mods that you had for your game saves. So when people came in for the update on Tuesday of this week, all of the Xbox players, all their mods were uninstalled, which caused major panic and a lot of confusion for everybody. A lot of people thought their save games were destroyed or deleted, and kind of looking across the internet, I guess some people actually did have save games deleted, but I still question some of that. People may not understand what was going on, and I think some of that was dissemination of misinformation. But my experience is that all my mods were uninstalled, which made my save games look like they were deleted as well. But when you installed those maps back in your game, once you were able to get into the game after the game updated, once you install the maps, then you try to load the maps will give you that nag screen to let you know, okay, I'm missing mod A, B, and C. Do you want to proceed? And from what that screen showed me, I was able to look and say, okay, I need to download that mod, and the rest of them I did. A lot of them I did from my memory, but I was able to reinstall my mods for the most part, and I even added a few new things now that we have the increased space. And so, long story short, here we are. We're back in it, and while we're here, let's go ahead and take a quick look at what we get with the Kubota DLC. Plus a few extras. I've actually downloaded some mods. There were some interesting mods that came out this weekend. We're kind of touching on those as well. And I'm going to go ahead and say it ahead of time. My apologies to the mod creators if I don't call you by name, because I don't have all that stuff written down or memorized. But there were some interesting mods this week, and I'll kind of touch on some that I installed in this whole reinstallation process and kind of getting my map set back up and all that good stuff. But first, we're just going to go straight to the Kubota's products, and that's your new product category. And we have Kubota. Cool. And let's kind of take a look at the equipment that's part of this DLC pack. We have the M5 series, which is a little small tractor, 92 horsepower. Let's see. You got your tire options. Wheel setup. There's only no options there. You have front rate or no, and engines, you could have it all the way up to between 92 and 106 horsepower. And of course, because it's basically a base game tractor, you could have the crop sensors installed. Options to put the crop sensors on the tractor and all that good stuff. Next up, we have the M6, which is $80,000. And this one, similar options, except you got more options on the tires. You got Continental, Michelin, Midas, Continental, Michelin, Trailborg, Nokian, Weidenstein, Midas, and then back to Continental. Standard wheel weights, wide tires weight now. But I'm not going to go through all these options, but you kind of get the gist of what we got going here. You have a 3-point front weight, 3-point front loader, Kubota, no. And this one, I do want to kind of touch on the engine options. You can go up to 114, 132, 141, and then back down to 104. So you got 3 engine options. You can go have 104, 114, or 132 horsepower, or 141. So wait a minute, let me go back. So you start off 104, so that's 1, 2 is 114, 3 is 132, 4 is 141, and then back to 1. So you got 4 different engine options there. You can max out at 141 horsepower with the M6 and license plate and the prop sensor option. So that's all there. Next up, you got the Kubota M7 series, 118,500. Same options on your tires as far as the brands go. Nothing new there. And your wheel setups and so on. Again, I'm not going to go through all of them, but it depends on the brand. Because I'm from the U.S., I'm partial to the Michelin brand. Warning. You got a warning signs option on this, but they appear to be only the Euro warning signs and not the U.S. warning signs, which is interesting. All right, front rate, yes or no, and then your different weight options on the front weight, or you can have a 3-point. Front loaders, Kubota branded, and then your engines. You're starting as the M7 132, 128 horsepower, or you can have the M7 152, takes you up to 148 horsepower. M7 172, 168, and then back down. So you got 3 engine options on this one, and you max out with the M172 at 168, and M8 series. This is your next one up, and same as rinse and repeat. And we're gonna go straight to the engine options this time. You're starting out as an M8 181, 180. Then you can go up to M8 201 that gets you 200 horsepower, or M8 181. So that's only 2 options, right? Yeah. So we got 2 engine options here, and you top it out at 200 horsepower. So the most powerful tractor in this pack tops out at 200 horsepower, and that's pretty much where you get all you're gonna get as far as like the highest horsepower tractor in this pack. So this is not like your big boys. This is kind of low end medium tractors as high as you get. All right, then we have some front loaders. All right, we got a front loader, and this is the R640. Nice little piece of equipment there. Tire options, Trailborg, Birdstein, and Trailborg. I don't know how you say that. And you got front on your wheel sub. You got standard front twins. And that's interesting. All right, and that's all you got on that, and that's 75,500. Then we got a skid steer, and this is the SSV 75, and you could have additional weights on it, and that's your only options there. And then we have another larger skid steer, and that's the SVL 97.2, 77,000. No options on that one, and that's a 96 horsepower. 75, 74 horsepower, by the way. Then we got a couple of little ATV type vehicles. RTV XG 850 Sidekick is your first one, and you could have a 3-point attacher on that, or you could just have the standard. And let's see, design. You got a design. Excuse me here. Fumbling the words here. Your design options, you have a design 1 option or design 2 for another $1,000, and that basically has a little front protector on there with design 2 for another $1,000. And this has what is the carrying capacity on this? 430 liters. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. And this can haul 430 liters. Then your next little ATV is a RTV X 1140W-H. Interesting naming convention there. And this one you can have a capacity of 280 liters or 1,000 liters. Or if you opt for the 3-point, it reduces the capacity. I can't see what the capacity. Let's see. Doesn't really show what the capacity is reduced to if you do the 3-point option, but it does reduce the capacity. I guess it drops it back down to the 280 because when you have 1,000, you could see it pop back out. So it must drop back down to the 280 when you have the 3-point. But if you take the back seat out, you can have up the capacity to 1,000. And your same design 1, design 2 options with the front protection grid on the front. All right, and that's all of the equipment added with the Kubota DLC. Now this stuff that I'm getting into here is was another mod that came out on the same release day as the Kubota DLC. It's the Kubota pack, where a modder actually went and modded some in-game equipment to be Kubota branded. A lot of this stuff was already in the game because Kubota also owns some other brands, like for instance Caverland, and I forget the Vicon, I think is the other, and a few others. And they just went and reskinned some of the stuff and added a few features here and there for some of the other equipment, and basically created this Kubota pack. And then there's a few interesting things on here, and I'm probably going to go back because I really love this brand, and we're probably going to be doing some shopping here in just a little bit, because I'm probably going to switch a lot of my stuff to the orange brand. But I was thinking about doing my tractors, but I got to check that, because one of the things I need to be careful about is the whole horsepower thing, because the largest tractor in this pack only goes up to 200 horsepower, and I don't want to mess myself up in that regard as far as like how I like to run, especially when I'm doing my mowing setup. So I still need to make sure that I have tractors powerful enough to do some of the things I need to do on the farm. But you can see we got a Kubota branded geospread, and I'm definitely going to swap out my fast bell for the Kubota branded fast bell. And I may even go ahead and buy these Kubota branded sprayers and sprayer tank. And these have also been updated with the spot spraying for the Precision Farming DLC, so that's pretty cool. Here's another, the XTS 446. Now it's Kubota branded, and also has the spot spraying functionality, so I may buy that now. And your seeders, mulcher, and all of that good stuff, but we'll get into that. You got your mowers, your tedder, a couple of different tedders, your windrower device here, Kubota branded, RA4513, but all good stuff. Now, since we're here, I also want to just go ahead and get into the mods, other mods that might have been. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything from the Kubota back there. Oh yeah, I did miss these. We got the front loaders that came with the pack as well. Oh, that's part of the Kubota pack. I'm sorry. But, well, that's right. That's actually kind of confusing. All right. But yeah, you had these two front loaders, the LA 255, which is 100 horsepower, and the M77, which is 180 horsepower or above. But I want to make sure here that I'm not mixing some things up, because we had the Kubota DLC and then we had a separate Kubota pack that was a mod. And see, it all kind of merges together when you look at it from the mods and DLC screen, which is a bit confusing. Now, where is all of that stuff at? And pardon me here, as my eyesight kind of messes with me, and I'm still not seeing all of that stuff here as a separate pack, but I know I have it installed because we saw it on the other screens. Yeah, the Caverland is the brand that was in that pack that was rebranded to Kubota. Oh yeah, Kubota equipment pack. Here we go. was losing myself here. Yeah, so this is all this other equipment that was part of the Kubota mod pack that also came out on the same day as the Kubota DLC. Some other stuff here. I'm gonna make sure I'm not missing anything here that any mods that I wanted to touch on that came out this week. Let me go down here. Oh yeah, my apologies for not being super prepared in that regard. I probably should have took some notes and been reading off my notes, but the way I am, I like to wing it. All right. So now that we have a Kverlin branded fast build, I don't even know if I'll keep this one installed. I may just use the one from the pack and call it a day. Trying to make sure I don't miss anything that I wanted to highlight while we were here. And again, this doesn't show all the mods that I have installed in the game, so I may have to run across some things while I'm in some of the build menus, because there's stuff that's in the build menu doesn't show on this screen for whatever reason, but that's a Giants thing and a game design thing. I really wish it showed. It would be really cool if this screen showed all of your mods and DLCs that you had installed in a save game. You know, just for sanity purposes, number one. But all right, let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off, let's go ahead and get a yard work out of the way on the farm. Don't think I fed my animals yet. I just wanted to go ahead and get that housekeeping stuff out of the way. Oops, you don't want wheat. You want barley. But I just want to go ahead and get that housekeeping stuff out of the way first and foremost before we got into some of the other things and actually got into what we wanted to get knocked out on the stream. One of the main things I want to do right now, though, is kind of get to the point where we get all our crops down and growing and everything, and we can't do corn this month, but we can do some work on our grape field. But that's going to take some time, and that's going to be a more slow and tedious process, and I was still kind of bouncing around whether I wanted to do that on the live stream or just wait to do that off camera. But then if I do that, then I might miss the window for my grapes, because I want to go ahead and also get, move forward to the month of April so that I can get my corn down and go ahead and get that going, get that in the ground at least. All right, so we got the chickens fed, and we're going to go ahead and grab some seed and just kind of drop some seed over here in greenhouses. And again, if it's your first time tuning in, I have the modded greenhouses installed and not the standard base game greenhouses. The modded greenhouses that I have installed require additional inputs, including seeds and fertilizer or manure, and in turn you get increased output from the greenhouses. At least this increased output as compared to the base game greenhouses. And because of the way I got them aligned here, I just have to do a little guesswork. Have to do a little guesswork with where I think the triggers are. But it's not a huge thing. This doesn't have to be perfect. But I like having them aligned this way because when I come through with the water, it just makes it a one shot. For doing all the, for putting water in the greenhouses. It's a little more annoying when you're doing the your grain and your fertilizer and all that other stuff because you can't see the trigger points, at least on console. but it's a great trade-off as far as I'm concerned. Is when it comes to doing the water, because with the water, the trigger for the water works a little differently. You could just come through with the tanker and then just keep drive through, and the water, when you hit the trigger point, the water will start to drain out, and then when it finishes it stop, and you could just move the tanker forward, and when you hit a trigger, it'll automatically start draining again, and you just keep going until you either run out of water or the trigger point is full. It's just a lot faster process when you're doing your water. So that's why I got a line like that instead of the other way around. All right, now we need to go grab some manure, maybe, hopefully. I don't know how much the cows have been producing. We've been having a little bit of a struggle with that as of late, and I'm not entirely sure why, but I think what my theory is they may have changed something behind the scenes with the cows. I'm not entirely sure, but they don't seem to be producing manure at the rate that they were previously, at least not entirely. All right, so we're gonna grab some manure, and I'm not gonna grab all of it this time, because I don't need it. We're just using this to kind of top off the greenhouses, and then move on to the next thing. And I know this is at this point kind of super repetitive, but but that's what it is right now. But we're going to get into some different things for sure. But because I have these certain things going on, including also having horses, I do want to go ahead and get these things taken care of. And right now, I did want to kind of do horses on this playthrough, because I haven't really played that much with horses in Farming Simulator 22 or 19 for that matter. So I just wanted to go ahead and try that out on this playthrough as well. But who knows, in the future I may get rid of them, I may keep them around. I haven't totally decided yet, but for right now we're going to keep the horses around. But that just adds to some of the repetitive, or at least kind of repetitive, day-to-day activities I need to do on the farm. Let's see here. And we're going to try to hit all the trigger points. It's all guesswork. But it's nothing major if we don't hit them all. I just want to try to keep them topped off as best that I can. And as long as any of them don't go into the red, we're great there. So consider that done, and then I'll dump whatever leftover I got into the mini VGA, and we'll move on to the next big thing, which will be water. And I can't dump this back into the silo heat, so we'll just go ahead and dump this in the mini BGA and make a little money off of it. And if I haven't said it already, just want to thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching, thank you for your support, thank you for your comments, likes, dislikes, comments, criticisms. It's all welcome. It is what it is. I'm a grown up. I live in the real world. Yeah, and I'm not hypersensitive. So whatever you got to say, that's cool. Love it, hate it. It's all fun as far as I'm concerned. And as I always say on my streams, I like to close out. If you're not having fun doing what you do, then what are you doing? So that's my thing on that. For those of you, if you've been tuning in and kind of watching me with this thing, I have my struggles with this game. Sometimes It's, it can really be super fun, and so other times it, just, some weird buggy things that can go on with the game. But I have this kind of love-hate relationship with it sometimes, but it's mostly all love. This is my favorite game. I've been playing gaming a long time, but this is the one that kind of got me. I always come back to this one, and it's really weird because you would never see me. I'm mainly a sports and a role-playing game kind of guy until I ran across Farming Simulator, and once I got into this, it's, my gaming has never been the same. This is the one that I always come back to, and I spend the most time playing. And since this is my baby, as I like to call it, I have a love-hate relationship with it, just like the opposite sex in my life. And if you love something, that's really what it is. All right. So we're doing the water now. And we're taking a lot of water, so I must have missed a month for getting some of these tanks filled. I'm not sure. It may have been while I was doing some stuff off camera. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, because we're draining out here. Like I was saying earlier, one of the cool things about the water is once you hit the unload button, you can just drive up, and it'll either drain out, or if you fill it up, it'll stop, and then you can drive up to the next one, and it'll pick right back up where it left off. The dump trailers don't behave that way. It's just the liquid trailers that behave that way for whatever reason. Would be nice if the dump trailers did that too, but I don't know if that's just a game functionality issue or why that is. You see, you can just drive up there, and then when you hit one that needs some water, it just automatically starts up, so you don't have to keep hitting the button. All right. But we're taking a lot of water here, so I must have missed it for a month or so. So we're gonna make sure we fill them all up now, at least. And that should be the last one or thereabouts. Okay. So we're all good with the water. So we're going to go ahead and drop the water tanker off at the shop and grab our dump trailer back and just getting the truck ready for whatever the next big thing might be. But it'll be parked and on the ready, and now we're just going to hop on over to our cow barn and pigsty and go ahead and get those animals taken care of. And again, just kind of bouncing some ideas around my head because this manure thing is a bit of a problem, so I'm also kind of just thinking out loud. Maybe considering putting down a modded cow barn and adding, one that has a larger capacity for cows, and getting one, and that way we can kind of have more cows, which in turn should, in theory, produce a lot more manure, and that may be the way to get around that problem if this is what is going to be the permanent thing now with the cows as far as producing manure. Because I think, let me take a look at that real quick. I'm pretty sure I already got this one maxed out in the cows that it can hold. Maybe I don't. Okay, let's take a look when we get up here. Alright, so let's see. Is this one maxed out? Let's go over here to this little power print, open the animal dialog from the barn. Yeah, this one holds 80 cows max, and we're maxed out at the 80 cows. So we may need to look at, and this is the large base game cow barn, so we may need to look at maybe removing that one and installing a modded one so we can have even more cows and get, you know, more production going as far as the manure, and in turn using that to feed the bunker, the the manure heap, and also for the mini BGA. But let's see. So just food for thought. Don't think I'm going to do it now because I really got to put some thought to what I might want to install and download. We can go looking at menu and let me take a peek at what I do have installed in this save game as far as like modded cow barns are concerned. So let's go. Oh, we're on it already. Okay, so I have the large cow barn base game. Okay, and then you have two versions of that one in the base game. The standard one, which is the one I got, or the one with the robot, with the feeding robot. But that's still only 80 cow capacity. And that's kind of neat to look at too. I could even consider removing this one and dropping the one in with the bot, but I'm not gonna. That may be for another consideration. But I have a couple of mods. As far as the cow barns are concerned, I got one that's modded to have a capacity of 240 cows. And the cool thing about this one is it should fit in the same space as this one I got now. And saying I could download and install, I could install this, the standard version or the robot version, and then I have another My Cow Pasture mod that this one has a capacity of 490 cows, but that footprint is like crazy large, and that won't fit neatly in the space that I have in this area. So I can't use that one because that's the other one I need to consider. But I also want to look at some of the other cow barn mods that I don't have installed in this save game, because there may be other options out there aside from these ones that I have installed in the save. So I just need to do some additional research on that and consider my options there. But just thinking about it right now, this modded one with the 240 might just be what I need, because this is pretty much the same one. It's just modded to have 240 cows instead of the current 80 cow limit that you have with the one that I have installed right now. Alright. But we're done with the TMR for the cows at this point, so I can move on to my next activity. And that's getting the pigs taken care of. So I'm going to go grab our pig feed. And just drive over here to their feed point. Alright. It's like, where's that trigger? There it is. And they'll probably take the whole trailer. Let's see. Pretty close. Still got 2,400 liters left. And we'll just go ahead and refill that back up. Okay. And this silo has a really slow field trigger. Okay, so we're back up to 8,000 liters. Alright, so the pigs are happy. They have their feed. And go ahead and drop that trailer off. And then we can go grab our straw. And another thing I haven't been keeping up is my grass field. It's probably ready to be mowed, I'm sure. But I just want to make sure it's in the second growth state instead of the first growth state, because you get a better yield when the grass is in the second growth state. Okay, make sure that's all we got. Okay, so that the cows have all the straw they need, so we can go do the pigs. And the same process for the pigs once I can find the trigger point. And it's right about there. And that was quick. But we just finished off that bale, so we still had room to go. And I finished off 2 bales, and we still have more room to go. Okay, and now we're so we got those 2 knocked out. We could probably go ahead and toss a couple of fresh bales in the blower, so we'll go ahead and do that real quick. So I'm going to go back over here and grab my my front loader. I can get it on there. And my bale spikes. And we'll grab a couple of bales and just toss those into the blower. Alright, so let me get it lined up and let's kind of zoom in. And I could have probably grabbed 2 at a time. Definitely could have probably grabbed 2. Alright, so let's get it kind of lined up. Right there seems like a good spot. And there we go. And just kind of back up and let it kind of fall in naturally. And that's 1. And let's go grab another. And alright. And I forget sometimes, and I guess I need to be more mindful of kind of zooming in with the camera so you can get a more closer view with what I'm doing. But sometimes, I'm just more comfortable playing with a more wide angle view of everything that's going on in the game. Alright, so we want to get the spikes kind of lined up to pick this bad boy up. Get her lined up and try to dump her closer to the back end. Okay. She should fall right in there. There we go. That was perfect. And probably throw 2 more in there. Yeah, and let's see if we can grab 2 at a time this time. All right. Superstar. So let's kind of wheel that back around. And let's see if we can dump them in the trailer at the same time. This could be a little tricky. All right, let's get zoomed in so I can kind of see what I'm doing a little better. All right, here goes nothing. All right, we got it. We got it. They aren't pretty, but that does work. And we'll just leave it there, and hopefully they won't go flying off when we try to move the trailer around and get it in position for whatever we're doing. Yeah, I don't like it, like that bell rolling like how it is. I don't want either of them to just kind of roll out. Okay, there they go. They're kind of settle in now. There we go. Still hopping around too much for my comfort. But they're in there. Alright, so we're done with the straw. And we could drop off the front loader and the spikes. Or just the spikes. All right, and we're done with the cows, done with the pigs. And I was just checking the this fluid silo I got over here real quick, and that's just about maxed out with digestate 927,000 liters. I think that one holds 1 million. And we'll go over here to the mini VGA. I'm just kind of taking a peek at where it's at right now. Okay, we did empty that out and put that in the silo, and we maxed out the digestate, the fertilizer production chain that we have. So one other thing I could do here shortly is also ship some of the digestate from this silo, over to digestate to fertilizer production chain. But that's another activity for another time. We don't need to do that right at the moment. So next, what we need to do is hop over to our horses and see what we got going over here. Since I only got 4 horses, they're not going to need any oat or straw that often. Okay, did we go ahead? We haven't ridden the horses for today, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. Starting off with Mr. Spirit here. And just gonna kind of take a little bit of a different route this time, just to change it up a little bit. Let's go over here and ride by our fields. This is our sugarcane field, and this is our wheat field, and then of course our grapevines. I just got to work this field, and this is going to be the most time-consuming thing as far as the field work goes today. And I'm just, again, kind of bouncing around in my head whether I want to go ahead and do that now on this stream or wait and do that off camera. But if I do that, then that means we probably won't get into me doing the corn planting on this live stream tonight, because it's gonna take a while to do the field work for all of my grapevines, and that might take up most of the time on the stream because you have to do that manually. You can't automate that with the workers, so I can't multitask while I'm doing that. Alright, so spirits 100%, so let's grab the next horse. Poncho. And this time let's just make a bead for the water tower. As you can see, we got the little ELM Creek water tower in the background. And I keep saying it once and I say it again. Really, I love the graphics of this game. You know, I'm playing it on the Xbox Series X, so it really looks good to me. It's not a monumental improvement over FS19, but it's still pretty significant. It's not photorealistic, but still it's very realistic. And I'm really, I really like the graphical improvements between 19 and 22. Of course, there's always room for improvement, but this is still pretty good. With each generation they get a little bit better. Sometimes it's all incremental upgrades between progressions, but it still looks great. And I know you PC Master Race guys will probably tell me, it looks great on my PC, with this graphics card X, and all of that good stuff. But, far as console goes now, the pinnacle you're gonna have is with the Series X and S and the PS5. And the game looks, pretty doggone good in my humble opinion on console, especially on these next gen systems. And it can compete now with many PC setups. And that's where we want to get, in the console space, and we're at that point right now. And I think that's really cool. And I've kind of talked on some of our previous streams about, how, I could play on PC. I could, put a lot of money into a hardcore PC setup, but that's just not where I'm at right now with my PC, and not what I use my computer for. And I just kind of like to have a separation between, which devices I game on versus which devices I do more, work and other things on. And I just have a preference for, doing most of my gaming on my console. There's still some gaming I will do on the PC because you're just not going to have a better space as far as like for using mods and different things like that. The console space will never compete with the PC when it comes to modding your games. Yeah. And yes, depending on the game, you can do modding, including this game, but there's other games, that you're just not ever going to have the exact same thing that you can do on a computer, because the computer is basically, unlimited, considering your hardware. Okay, that's 100%. We got one more guy. There's you. Oh, I got you. So it's just the other one. So Yeah, Applejack. All right, jump. And like I was saying earlier, I'm not really sure where my grass fields are at, so I'm gonna wait at least 1 more month before I do any grass work, just to be sure, because the grass is ready to harvest now in March, but just to be sure it's at the second growth state, not the first. I'm gonna wait 1 more month until April to do anything with the grass, just to be sure. And I think what I'll do this time, just to make sure we have enough bales, although we're to the point where we really don't need any extra bales of any type, save for maybe straw. But we'll do some tedding and just turn that grass into hay and just add some more hay bales. And we'll get straw naturally when we do our barley and our wheat in those fields. And then we'll have more of those, and we know what to do with very shortly. And I may even have to consider, depending on how many bales we do get, consider buying another barn and putting another barn on one of my properties. I could even put one out in this area that I also own by my horse barn. All right. So we're done here. Just need to clean the horses, and then we can move on to something else. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, which one did I miss? Okay, you. All right. And while we're here, we'll just go ahead and take a peek at their needs. Actually, let's do it from this menu, from the animals menu. Go to the horse barn. And they could use a little food. So we can go ahead and just actually, we're going to take this as an opportunity to kind of show off some of the stuff from the Kubota kit. So let's go ahead, and I have this little tractor or vehicle lease right now. Where is it at? And this is the part of the Antonio Carraro pack, the Tiger Car 3200 GST. I had it leased. We're going to go ahead and return that now. And we're going to get into some stuff from the Kubota pack. So I want to go to, we'll do it from the cars this time. Is it under the cars? Yeah. And we're going to grab, let's grab the larger of the two. Yes, sets you back 15 grand. But we're going to grab the RTV X1140W-H. Really love that name. We're going to set it, get the 1,000 capacity version. We can always come back in the shop if we need to change the configuration for the 3-point. But we want to get the 1,000 liter capacity version. All right, I think we're good. What was the design? Do we need the, nah. Oh, there's a design 3 that I did. 1, 2. It just has a tow hitch, but it doesn't provide any functionality other than that. So we just get the design one, because we could always change this in the shop as well. So let's go ahead and buy that, 15,000. Yeah. All right. So we got our first Kubota branded piece of equipment, one of many. Because like I said, I'm probably going to redo my whole farm and as much Kubota equipment as I could stand. It's like I said before this pack came out, you know, this is a brand I'm familiar with. This is a brand I can see down the street. This is something that I'm familiar with that I see in the U.S. quite a bit. So it'll be really cool to just go ahead and get that equipment, because I actually think this is a cool brand. Love the colors and everything about this, you know, some of their equipment. And I like the way it sounds. That's a really cool sound. I like the way that engine sounds. Just want to listen to it for a second there. Sounds really nice. Alright, but we're going to the main farm. I'm going to grab some oat for the horses. I'm going to start filling barley oat. 1,000 liters of oat. And we'll wheel that over to the horse barn. Just loving that sound. I'm curious to see how that compares to how one sounds in real life. Excuse me. Alright, and give the horses some oat. They took most of that 1,000 liters, almost 1,000 liters, 156 liters short. So you take the leftovers back to the farm. And then the next thing we want to do, excuse me again, as far as the horses are concerned, is get them some straw, and then we'll be done with the horses. Watch out, try not to tag that pylon. Alright, we're gonna grab some straw. Just go ahead and grab 1,000 liters. I know it won't take us anywhere even close to that amount to fill it up. You know, $8.99 left out of 1,000. But we can go ahead and put the leftover right back into the silo. Alrighty, and there you have it. Horses are done. Cows and pigs are done. Chickens are done, so we're done with the animals for the moment. And we're gonna go ahead and park the Kubota right there. And we just call it the RTV 1140. Shorthand. Alright, so where do we need to go from here? Let's go. We want to go ahead and get into this grape farming stuff. I think we will, because we really need to both plow and cultivate. And I did some testing off camera a little before I got into this live stream, and the grape field, basically it's showing, let's go to it real quick. It's you know, as I've talked about on previous streams, the grapevines and how they work with precision farming is not as clear as some of the regular grain crops, and I've been trying to work around that because I want to get this environmental score for this field up as much as I can, considering how the grape fields work in conjunction with precision farming. But I'm not exactly sure what would be the best way to go about doing so. Right now, this field, if we go to the regular filters, it's showing that this field is in a needs plowing state. Whether that really matters as far as the grapes and harvest and all of that is concerned, I'm not entirely sure. But I do want to go ahead and clear that state. And I did some, like I did some testing off camera, and this cultivator I got, this one of the base Spain cultivators for the grape fields. It does cultivate between the hedgerows in my vineyards, but it doesn't reset the plowing state. So I did some testing to try to find what device I need to use that could cultivate and also remove or update that needs plowing state when it comes up. So I have a mod that I found that I installed that takes care of both of those issues, and we're going to go ahead and buy that mod right now from the shop, and I'm going to sell this cultivator that I have. That's one of the base game cultivators for vineyards. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to drop this off at the shop and sell it back. And all right. And it's a nice piece of equipment, but it doesn't fit my needs right now. And that's the Agri Sim Disco Binge V5, I guess. But we're gonna sell that one back. I'm gonna go ahead and sell it. Yes. So we just sold that. And now we want to go into the shop. And we got $3,700 for that. $3,725 basically. And we want to go. I think it was on the grape technology. Was it on the grape technology? No. Let's do it this way. Just go on to mods and DLCs. And where is it at? This one, the Dundee Disco Vitus. And this is another mod, and my apologies, I don't have the mod maker's name off the top of my head, but I think you could look this up in the mod hub. It's the Dundee Disco Vitus. And we're going to go ahead and get this mod. And this is a cultivator, but it also resets the needs plowing state on the field. And I did confirm that in some testing that I did off camera, so we're going to go ahead and buy that to replace the other cultivator that I had. And we're going to take that back to the farm and do some cultivating on our grape field. Yeah, I know it's not the most exciting thing to get in that we wanted to get into tonight, but I do want to go ahead and get that task knocked out as well. And I guess this is going to be primarily another one of those animal care and a little bit of field work type of streams. Just keeping in mind that as far as my crops go, I still need to get my corn crop down, but I can't do that until we get into the month of April. Right now we're just going to go ahead and get the cultivating / plowing done on my grapevines. And the order of operation for the grapevines appears to be at least each between seasons is after you prune, then you cultivate, and then you mulch. So we're just going to do the cultivating now. Alright, I'm going to start on the outside lane. Gonna get it lined up as best that we can here. Oops. Alright, lower cultivator. And there we go. Where is it? Make sure it's all the way down. Doesn't look like it's. Alright, there. Lower. Just want to make sure it's getting it. And let's check to make sure that the field state's being updated. At least I hope I got the right device for the job. Just got to do enough of it and then go back and double check the filter to make sure. There it is. So I gotta go back up because I don't know why it didn't count that other part when I was closer to the top. I have to go back over it. Oops. Go back over that if I can get my tractor lined up properly. And again, apologies, I'm having trouble all of a sudden keeping my throat clear. Yeah, this is going to be a slow process. So what I might just do, just to make this stream a little more interesting, is we'll do this a little bit, but then I'll jump into something else and we'll save the rest of it for off camera, I think. Maybe. Alright, so going back down. And we'll just draw it down the middle here. And apologies there, had a little bit of equipment malfunction. The batteries died on my controller. But that's just a quick swap out of rechargeable batteries and keep it moving. And while we're on the topic of rechargeable batteries, that's a common point of contention for many Xbox owners. For me, I don't find it that terribly inconvenient to have batteries in your controller, and just to have them swapped out instead of using having a built-in rechargeable battery in your controller like the PlayStation. Because my thing there is, over time, if rechargeable batteries start to deplete in how much charge they can even hold. So if that happens with your controller, then you're gonna have to replace the entire controller when the built-in rechargeable battery starts to not hold a charge for as long as it used to. I just think it's more, in my humble opinion, more of a consumer-friendly approach to let the consumer decide, how they want to handle that, whether they want to use regular batteries, whether they want to use rechargeable batteries, and pick the brands of rechargeable batteries that they want to use. And that way, depending on what options you choose, you could have some different results with that. Because if you get better quality brands, especially in the ones that are typically built in controllers because of them being mass produced, I just think that's a better deal for the gamer. I mean, myself, I typically I found great results with the Energizer rechargeable batteries, and also with the Amazon branded Interloop batteries, rechargeable batteries. They hold charge for a pretty long time, and I have no complaints with either one of those batteries, and it's not that terribly inconvenient for me. And if I told you how many hours I spend gaming overall, I put these batteries through their paces, and I know what they can do, and I get tons of hours from the batteries, a single charge. And the system I kind of use is, I use a system where I keep at least 2 sets of batteries in rotation. So when one set comes off, another set goes on the charger. And actually lately I've kind of added the 3rd set to that, so I literally have 3 sets of rechargeables in rotation. And again, it's not that inconvenient to me at all, in my humble opinion. Because I always have 1 set on the charger, and I have 2 sets on the ready. I have 2 sets that are already ready, charged up and ready to go for when I need them at all times. And 1 set's always on the charger. I know everybody has their different opinions about that, and that's just mine, and where I am at concerning that issue. Is this thing kicking up stone? So I didn't even think about that. It looks like it's kicking up stone. I have to check that in just a second. Alright, get down there. Alright, look at that menu. You're still going to have those gaps where it says needs plowing, because you can't get the whole thing because of the existing grapevines. So I guess basically I'm still just kind of putting up that needs plowed state as much as I can, but I'm not going to completely remove it from the field without completely deleting all my grapevines and placing them down again. And that's just not practical to do that between harvests. And there are some stones here at the top of the field that could be picked. And I don't know what activity caused those stones to pop back up, because I did stone this field prior to putting the grapevines down. And I didn't want to get super meticulous with this, but probably could stand to do a double pass on these just to see if I can get that needs plowed state completely off this field, but that's just even way more tedious. That's why it looks like I kind of just thought it would be easier just kind of ride the center between the vines instead of just trying to ride the edges close to each side. When you do it that way, you actually can see what you're plowing up, but you can also see what you're missing. And even if I do it that way, I'm still going to miss a ton of spots. And like I was saying earlier, this is something that's going to take some time, but it's got to be done. It looks like maybe I will need to go back and kind of double up on doing these, because I just want to make sure we get as much of this as we can. I'm not going to get them all because of the way the cultivator keeps hitting the poles. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to come back and clean that up a little bit, because the OCD part of my brain is not gonna let me be able to look at that screen and see all that stuff still showing as in a needs plowing state. Even if it's just, you know, spots here and there. It's just a little more tedious when you're riding between the hedgerows, and you gotta kind of cut as close as you can to the poles. And still try to keep your tractor from getting crossed up with the poles. Because it looks like ideally you would want to do a double pass between each and every hedgerow just to make sure you got it as clean as you can. But since I'm not an AI driver, I can't say perfectly straight, so at some point I'm going to deviate too close to the poles and then just slow the whole tractor down. Yeah, the OCD side of me is never gonna let me just do this and just kind of do it half-heartedly. We gotta get this as clean as we can. So I'm gonna be going back up and down some of these rows and just making sure we got it all, or as much of it as we can. Just hate that you gotta work it this way because it's not very fast. But I want to be able to ride through it at speed without running into the poles. Because when you're not getting slowed down by the poles, it's not super fast, but it does go faster than it does when you're running real close to the poles and kind of colliding with the poles. And as we've also kind of joked about on these labs, you know, my equipment driving skills aren't the greatest. I wonder if, well, we'll see here. Yeah. If you don't hug it real tight, you tend to miss some spots. And that's why I keep getting kind of stuck in the poles a little bit, which slows me down, but I have to get super close to it to make sure that it hits all the spots. All right, let's go. So I can keep it as straight as possible and riding at that 7 miles an hour, then that's really cool. I see now I'm just gonna have to ride up and down these roads a few times and make sure I get this stuff as clean as I can. But with these grapes, it's just weird because I don't even know if it really even matters. How does the game calculate that stuff? Is this effort going to even have any impact on my harvest? I really don't know. I just think that Giants really needs to kind of tweak that issue. Because I'm sure a lot of folks would also like to, use the grapes and olives with precision farming, but they need to clean it up so it works like everything else does with precision farming. But we're slowly making progress getting through here. But I'm going to test a theory here, see if I come back on this side and just hug it close enough really get rid of it on both sides, and it does. Alright, we just missed a bunch there though. And that's what I was afraid of, it doesn't work. Because now I gotta come back up that row. So you can get it in spots, but you gotta hug it so tight. And you're still gonna miss some stuff. Yeah. So we still need to come back up that row. So this is just one of those deals. So basically, it seems like when you're doing the cultivating, you're going to have to kind of double up. You just can't ride the middle. You got to make a pass on each side of the poles. And again, this one, I don't know if any of this has an impact on your harvest yields or anything like that. Alright. We're getting close to finishing, but still have quite a ways to go. But if you can hug it really closely, you can kind of get a little bit on both sides, but it's just not consistent enough. Yeah, this is crazy. Alright, let's try to get closer. Come on, line up, buddy. There you go. Okay. I just got to get better at my tractor driving, so that even when I am bumping against the poles, it won't slow me down that much. I just want to make sure that I'm getting in there and getting as close as I can to the edge of the poles. All right. We're getting closer, but far from complete at the same time. And again, I'm trying my best to try to make him go a little bit faster and not bang it up on the poles as much. But it's not as easy as it might look. Alright. And slowly but surely getting there. Emphasis on the slowly. Like, am I on the right side? Nope, I wasn't, but I am now. Alright, and we're getting there. This is some exciting stuff, I know, right? Doing grapes is a labor of love, and grapes are not common in the U.S. like they are in European countries, but it is a neat crop, and the grapes also provides inputs to our production chains. Alright, I'm trying to get it as close as I can. That's really all you can do with it. And you're definitely going to miss some spots. I just got to get it enough in there, so when I come through on the other side, I don't miss any major spots, so I have to go back a third time. Alright, see. There's a patch there that I missed for whatever unknown reason. Another patch there. This is a tough little bit. Alright, yes, we know we don't have access to this land. Alright, we're getting closer and closer to the edge. But that by no means I'm finished, because I gotta go back and touch up all those spots that I missed. Okay, come on, right in there. Alright, still got a few rows to go, and I apologize here that I'm kind of looping in and out a little bit, but just the nature of the job we got going here is just, going up and down, back and forth. and you're not doing anything else, and I can't opt to any other activities because I got to do this myself, and I can't have the AI workers try to do it. And it looks like we're closer than I really am because again, you're going up and down the east side. In between my voice trying to go out on me and trying to get this stuff knocked out. It's been an interesting night tonight. But slowly and surely we're going to get it all done as best that we can. But this one is wreaking havoc on my energy levels a little bit, but we're almost there. Come on, straighten up. So you can see the finish line now. Just want to get there. Okay, come back for another pass. And checking the time, yeah, this is gonna pretty much chop us up tonight, but it's something that had to be done. And hate that this took up most of the time on the stream tonight, but we need to go ahead and get it taken care of as soon as we could. Once the whole issue came up, or you realize that the field was at that point. And the rest of it's just gonna be touching up the spots that you missed. Yeah, I definitely don't like those stones just hanging out there either. Alright, let's just see, can we clean some of these other areas up? Yeah, just no real way to get around having to go down these things twice. I thought it was done, but not quite, because we didn't. That's right, we didn't start out doing both sides this way. I just got to go back through it like I'm doing now and clean that up as best that I can. Alright, this is definitely gonna take up all the rest of the time that we have on this stream tonight. But now this is all cleanup duty. I think I want to get it as close to perfect as I can before we move on to the next activity. Too far over. I'm just trying to hit the spots as best that I can. Because if I can get the cultivator in there, it looks, you can clean both sides, but you're just not going to consistently hit it that way all the way down the vine or all the way down the road. It's a lot harder than it looks. All right. We had some other spots in this row, or did I just... Am I hallucinating now? See, it's all starting to look the same. But definitely, the brake work is a little more time intensive. But you do have to put in the work if you want to get the best results. Okay, and just getting the tractor turned around and going back down. And I'm probably going to have to do the same thing when it comes time for mulching as well. Alright, just a little cleanup there as we get closer to the finish line here. And that's literally all we're doing right now is just cleanup. And the little tractor's doing its best. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, since we are going to jump into doing a bunch of getting a bunch of Kubota equipment, one of the first things I'm going to probably buy is a little Kubota branded little tractor. The one that's small enough to fit between the vines. And trade this one in. Not going to have time to do that now. But that's maybe one of the things we'll get to on the next show. We're definitely going to start trading our equipment, some of our equipment in, and just getting Kubota equipment. You gonna get all the way to the end and get stuck on the pole? Really? You can see we got about 4 more spots there that we need to get on each of those. About the next 4 rows. Alright, and get it turned around, and oh, there's an area I missed right there. You can see it plain as day. Like, how did we miss that whole big piece there? Alright. Turn around, clean it up. There we go. And just bumping up against them, the poles, but still keeping it moving. Alright, getting the tractor turned. Now, did I drive down the wrong road? I think I did. Yeah, I did. How did that happen? I don't know how that one happened. Okay, we got some up here though. All right, we're coming up on the last minute of the stream, and we're gonna pick up exactly from here. When we come back in on Saturday's stream, and hopefully we'll get to the point, get an opportunity to do the corn and the grass. We should, because we'll be done with the grape stuff. As I finish this up off camera, and like I always say, if you're not having fun doing what you do, then what are you doing? Continue to like, comment, subscribe. Bose831 Gaming on Instagram, Bose831 Gaming on Twitter, Bose831 Gaming on Twitch. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And of course, as always, I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll see you on the next live stream. Remember, I also upload these videos to my YouTube channel, which is Bose831 Gaming. Be sure to tune in there and check them out as well. And thanks for watching. Catch you on the flip side.